Welcome to the Tuck Shop Podcast, everybody. Matt Cernell coming to you from a very special event. David, our first live remote.
Yes, maybe our last.
It might be our last. If you've listened to any of the shows in the last year and a half we've done this, you've certainly heard a bunch about the education program and listened to the episode where Dr. Charlene Rowland came and talked to us. Dr. Rowland, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
Why are we in this room today?
Well, today's is the end of the semester for our student teachers. And after doing 14 weeks out in the school districts, actually teaching, serving as interns to our mentor teachers, we have them showcase their work. And they get a chance to talk with school district personnel, administrators, principals, school teachers, coordinators, as well as our faculty about their experience, what they learned, but that also they get to market themselves as they are now in the midst of entering the teaching profession.
So they actually get to come and present. You were very gracious to invite David and I in the spring, and now we're back. And it's very neat to see all the work and the projects that your students do.
Yeah, they actually, our education majors and candidates are wonderful, especially our student teachers, because this is their last semester at Pitt Johnstown. And for them, they have come a long way from being new to the classroom to now engaging themselves and taking a lot to do for the classroom.
So most of these students are going to graduate here in
December.
13 days.
Yep, in 13 days,
12 days,
and they will become alumni.
Well, that's what we want to hear, right?
Absolutely. 13 days is still probably a lot of material to cover in 13 days, but we will welcome them.
Well, these will be wrapping up tonight.
Okay?
They pretty much have wrapped up, submitted the paperwork. They just have to now do the certification paperwork. And if they have any last-minute state exams they need to take, this is good. Okay. I am going to let you talk to
we're going to bring on our next guest, but thank you for introducing what we're doing, and I'm sure we'll have you back here in a little bit, but we're going to hang out here and talk a good while.
Okay, thank you.
To some of the other folks, the great students.
Thank you so much.
Great. Dr. Mark Collin,
yes.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank
you and I've met you through Doug Letney, who's going to be joining us here in a little bit.
Right.
But you've never been on the show before. Welcome.
Thank you.
Have you ever done the podcast of any podcast before?
I don't think so. This is
So
my
you're
first
not
one.
you're not one of the pod people.
As we were introduced at the intro to the event as the
Dr.
pod
Charlene
people.
described.
I mean, I've certainly watched enough clips on YouTube and such to know the format, but
Well, we're very proud to be pod people.
yeah.
You have an interesting program that you wanted to promote a little bit about tying students in. Talk about that a little bit and introduce folks who may not know, or education majors who be listening, that it was something relatively that they haven't seen before.
Okay, of course, yeah. So I direct what's called the American Civic Education and Literacy Initiative. We call it the ACE Initiative on campus. And it's directed really through the social studies program. So I direct the social studies program through the education division. And what we do is host 2 annual events typically. So the first one we host is a professional development session for regional teachers. So we partner with 22 districts in the region. It's not limited to the 22 districts, but last year I think we had 13 districts represented there, had about 85 people on hand, had representatives from the Greater Johnstown School District offering model lessons for teachers. I ran a couple of sessions as well, and we had a group called the Bill of Rights Institute come and provide a couple of other sessions. This year, our event is in February, and the Bill of Rights Institute is happy to come back and join us again, along with the National Constitution Center, the Rendell Center, and a organization called Generation Citizen, as well as I believe Dr. Newman from the History Department is also going to run a session for us. So we're looking for a more dynamic offering for local teachers and trying to prepare them for the America 250 celebration that's happening. So hopefully they can take some of the best practices that we're trying to promote to them in the professional development session and use it inside their classroom to prep their students for the 250 anniversary.
And that'll happen all on campus.
That will happen all on campus. It's going to be at the Living Learning Center on February 6th from 8 to 2:30 is what we have it scheduled for right now.
And now, is this something that's open to the public?
We invite civic organizations typically. So we usually have members from PA Fair Districts has been with us before. The Rotary Club has been with us before. We have had people from the general public as well, but it's more so they kind of have to reach out to me to find it. So, you want me to share my email?
That's kind of where I was at. There we go. He's
Excellent.
been on these podcasts before. He knows.
So my email is mac699@pitt.edu. If anyone is interested in coming along. So this year we're also allowing some vendor organizations to have tables set up to kind of hand out swag and just kind of mingle with the teachers and let them know what they do and what they can offer for their students.
I think we're going to want a table.
Sure, let's get a table.
Yeah, well, I think
For the alumni.
And I was just going to say, I will send you an email on there. I didn't even realize. I knew you had the podcast, but the first live event. But yeah, we'll definitely have you, and there will be plenty of alumni teachers there as well.
That's
for you
what
to
at least
engage.
to reach out.
That's
and,
exactly, because that's my kind of question was, bringing alumni back. It's interesting because we often find ourselves 2 days after an alum has been here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was up on campus 2 days ago. We want to welcome them back. So anything we can do to help you do
and
that.
engage
for
them
sure.
as much as possible, right? So
Absolutely.
I mean, we also offer an event in the later spring. So in April, we have what's called the Democracy Bowl, where again local teachers come onto campus, but they'll bring their students on. So we had about 135 teachers and students on campus last year, and again, like so many of the partners that I have working alongside me that help develop those students inside of their own classrooms are UPJ
Our
alumni.
alum, correct.
And some of the key figures like John Smith graduated from UPJ, teaches at Greater Johnstown School District. There's a young guy named Jordan Heinlein who teaches at Westmont School District, who has helped out a lot. Caitlin Urban, who teaches at Somerset. And Kylie Baker, now it used to be Kylie Dillon, but teaches at Northern Cambria. So we have very much have tried to reach out to our alumni network to be the key figures in helping develop this program.
Well, that's a really cool program. Actually, it's kind of exciting. I'm actually kind of looking for it as a recovering politician myself.
I think we all are, right?
At least once a year.
Well,
Right,
you're
once every 4 years.
You're
right?
still in it, David.
Yeah.
You spent too much time in local government. I got out while I still had hair. Not all of it, not gray, but
Get involved.
no, that sounds like an amazing program and really, really neat for both the students and
Yeah.
for teachers and getting the folks on campus to see some cool stuff.
And that's really the goal, is get as many people as we can on campus. We run student tours alongside of the events during Democracy Bowl as well, so hopefully can get some interest on campus, right, and get more people here.
And we'll be glad to help.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Yes. Well, thank
Either
you.
from the Alumni Association or Institutional Advancement Department, by all means, through our social media outlets, or, again, it's engaging alum to bring them back, or alum saying to us, we didn't know about this. That'd have been a cool thing to come see.
Okay.
So any way we can help out.
Well, I mean, I have many emails to send out, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. No, glad to do it. And the neat thing is that this is exactly the same process that any alumni group can do.
Oh, absolutely.
Reach out to me, reach out to Dave and say,
Sure.
hey, I have this event. We're on campus for so. You had a couple weeks ago or a couple months or two back, wedding. That
We
was
did.
alumni who they said, yeah, we kitted them out with all kind of alumni gear for their wedding and stuff.
Nice.
I mean, a lot of it is, you'll hear the alum say, thanks for having us, but it works two ways. Like, thanks for coming out or thanks for contacting. There's not some secret that every alum that graduated or what those alum are doing nowadays. So anytime that they can send that message the opposite way, we're very appreciative of that.
I mean, networking is so important. I think,
Absolutely.
unfortunately, the teaching realm, we don't talk about networking enough for it, but, that's it. That's the key piece, right? It's just keeping that connection and sharing information both
Absolutely.
ways, as you're saying.
Great, Mark. Thanks. Good
All right.
seeing you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for both having me, and look forward to working with you again here in the spring.
Cool.
It was great, and everyone stay tuned for more information on that program. Great.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thanks.
We got our next guest in line, Dr. Wilson.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
Good. Why don't you introduce yourself to the folks and tell them what you do?
Hi, my name is Dr. Elaine. I go by Dr. Laney Wilson, and I am. I work at the Education Division, and I am a special education and educational psychology professor.
It's good to see you again.
Well, it's good to see you.
Thanks for jumping on the show. I don't know if you had a choice. Charlene kind of grabbed you and ushered you into a seat.
That's all right. That means I was meant to be here.
One of the pod people.
She's trying to make you a pod person.
What do you think of this event?
I think this is a wonderful event to show what our pre-service teachers are doing and how they're supporting the community, and I'm just very proud of them, all their hard work. I remember them from pre-ed freshmen all the way up to seniors, and just seeing them grow, it just warms my heart.
You get in your expertise of how you have the specialty of your teaching, you get to do you spend more time with all of them across the board? You're not just focused on like we just talked to Mark in social science.
I have
everybody.
I have everyone because of the courses I teach. So one of the courses that I teach is Educational Assessment for the Inclusive Classroom. That is a pre-education course, and that's open to, early childhood to middle level, secondary. So it's the whole gamut in special education. And then I also teach inclusion strategies, which is also early childhood, middle level, and secondary content areas. And then I teach the special education courses as well.
So you do get to see almost every one of these students.
Absolutely.
It has to be very nice to get to this day and kind of have that.
Especially
they made it.
Oh, absolutely. Especially seeing students in their pre-ed courses and the assessment class, and then seeing them at student teaching and just seeing them grow and blossom. It's such a nice thing. One of the assignments that I have in one of the very last courses is write a letter to your 30-year-old self. The reason, what's your why? So anytime, whenever whatever journey or path that you're on, you go back to that letter so you remember what your why is. Because I explain to them, I go, I love teaching, and I would never choose any other career. But there's going to be days that you're going to sit under the table and cry. There's going to be days that you're going to be so happy because maybe a child who never spoke before said their first words. So you get all the good and all the bad it's so worth it, because you just see people grow and you just want them to be the best versions of themselves.
What led you to teaching?
It was my aunt Pat. So she passed away, I want to say, in 2011, and she was the person that got me into teaching. She was my why. And one thing that she told me that was a big takeaway for me was, she's like, Lainey, whatever you do, don't read the information first. She's like, I understand, like, you have to speak to the parents and families and whatnot, but make sure you introduce yourself, call them. She's like, because you have to remember, whenever you're getting referred for services, things look a lot worse on paper. So then you don't want to have that bias against them. So introduce yourself, just call them, say hello, and then you can do your paperwork. And that was probably some of the best advice that I ever got, and that's what I like to tell the teachers too.
That's actually a very interesting perspective, kind of. Mm-hmm. And I get bits and pieces of education understanding. Get to play in the other fields a little bit.
Question. So, you talked about, that 30-year letter to yourself. I guess kind of a related question. So in the years, how have you seen education change? What challenges, and how do we prepare, particularly your UPJ student, for those changes and challenges? I mean, 30 years ago, you didn't hear the word. Let me say it this way. Special education meant something totally different than what it means today.
Yes.
And that's coming from someone who's a layman, not in the education field. So if you could just expound a little bit on that, I think that'd be interesting.
So how has education changed? Okay. Sorry. So pretty much, I'd like to be open and honest with my pre-service teachers, and that's what I say. You have your good days and you have your bad days. So how I've seen education change over the years is students' behaviors are more aggressive and maybe more volatile, like verbally, physically. And one thing that I really like to tell students is 9 times out of 10, the behavior the story behind a behavior is not going to make you angry. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you sad. So you always have to remember behavior is a form of communication. So that's why we want to look at the function. But at the same time, we also want to be solution-oriented. And that's what I tell them. It's like, we know there's a lot of problems in the world. However, what are your solutions? How are you going to tackle those? Because that's unfortunately just part of the world that we live in.
Has that attitude changed a bit through the COVID process?
We've seen there was, when it comes to the education, because I just left K through 12 right before COVID hit. So there was kind of like pre-COVID and post-COVID. And so one thing with COVID, one of the I want to say blessings or things that I'm thankful for was it put a spotlight on education, what needs to be fixed and how we could do that. But we also are able to use technology and connect people. So that's a nice tool. So one thing that I would say COVID impacted was the social emotional aspect of students. And so now it's just getting students to talk to one another, be able to read the facial cues and whatnot. And I thought this was interesting because I was at Faculty Senate and we were talking about how students, they're not able to network. And so I want to say it was like business or enterprises or something like that. They were having a networking event. And
Stacy's business.
And they were showing people how to shake hands. And that's something that we take for granted. But that's a transition skill, and that's something with our bridge program. Those are the skills that we focus on, or all the like the soft skills that you need for the workplace.
Yeah, interesting.
I just kind of follow up on my original question. Even if you went back 10 years ago, and you said the words or the letters IEP, like that meant what? It meant nothing. I mean, there was not. Nowadays I think in education, it's not a tolerance, but it's meeting a student and their needs. To your point, to get them to what's that next level. Not, I mean, we all grew up, I think, in the age when that wasn't
the case.
Wasn't part of education.
Oh yes, I remember growing up where a lot of the students were segregated, and I still remember, and I tell all my students this. I remember being in high school and watching students in learning support walk around the track with their teacher smoking cigarettes. I graduated in 1992, so. Things were different back then in school. Might want to edit that part.
No, it's really good. It's good to see you. Thanks for
too.
jumping on the show and talking a little bit about your work and everything with the department. It's amazing always to come through and talk to Dr. Letney and hear everything that happens in the department.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely. Thanks a bunch. Dr. Wilson, good to see you.
Good to see you. Hopefully that was okay.
You did fine. Well, we got a lot of cool stuff going on, David. I tell you what, when you look at some of these projects, I know Dr. Roland is getting us some students to talk to, so we actually hear about some of their projects. But it's always a very impressive turnout when we see these student projects. You and I came in the spring, like I mentioned earlier, and there was some very, very detailed work being done.
There's an interest that, and I guess part of that evolution that even, I know we were here in the spring going around and talking to some of the students, the innovative thinking on how to teach or how to present that material, again, I think is an evolution of, as each generation goes to the next generation, the learning process, I assume, would have to change.
I would agree.
So how do you prepare, I guess, students here today to understand that that's...
It's almost like, to me, it makes sense. It's almost like teaching people how to learn to teach, in the sense that certain basic skills are going to be, and I'm not taking it out on our math department, but addition and subtraction have kind of been that for a long time. But education is one of those fields to me that, if I understand it correctly, being somewhat in it, is that progresses. So you almost have to know how to roll with those evolutions at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, you're right. Math hasn't changed since the dawn of time. You add, you subtract, you divide, you multiply. But I think you're right. As society evolves, what used to get it in 1 BC doesn't get it anymore.
Yeah.
Here's 1 + 1 is 2. Recently was at a gathering over the weekend, and a young individual came up to me and said, "Let's play a math game."
Okay.
And I was like, "A what?" "We're going to play a math game." And I'm like, "Okay, it's a math game, but it's really education. It's really teaching," where at one point there wasn't the need for a math game.
Yeah.
You kind of, we're going to go
Just
over.
got flashcards.
Yeah,
drilled
I
into
remember
you.
flashcards. I don't know if I was going to go there. I didn't know if you remembered flashcards.
No, I did,
You're
yeah.
a little younger
Yep.
than I am. But that need of evolution, that need of change, which is, again, some of those questions. What changes have people seen over the years, or even some of the students? It'd be interesting to see in 30 years what
they've progressed.
what's the form it's going to take.
Done. Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point to make, and something that I wonder if they're thinking of that.
I don't know.
We're going to talk to some of the students here in a little
We
bit.
had some students, but we had lost them.
But yeah, they're also for those of you who aren't in the room with us and just listening along at home. Every student is presented at their own table, and we have both representatives of our faculty as well as school districts who are effectively looking for them for employment to learn about their work and learn about them and meet them. So we can grab students as we can, but we don't want to take it's not worth sitting and talking to you and me, David, when
Yeah.
they potentially could have a paying job.
Yeah, I don't think we're in the.
We're not worth it. We're not worth
looking
it
to
that
hire.
much. So I don't think I'm going to hold that to anybody, but we're going to get Dr. Letney over here and talk a little bit and some other things. But I'm real excited. Schedule-wise, we got some cool stuff from the alumni board coming up, including starting next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the Mountain Cat
Oh
tournament.
yeah, sure.
So that'd be the 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Yeah, this year something new. We've added. How can I say? We've had competition for girls teams, which we've never done in the past. Ladies tournament, full-fledged. In the past, unfortunately, it was the girls were playing between the boys' games on Saturday.
It was a one-off exposition game,
Yeah,
effectively.
this year we've actually devoted Thursday night to girls teams, and then they will play their own championship and consolation games that following Saturday. So it's kind of neat to see, the full inclusion of both male and female sports for the Mountain Cat tournament. And I just want to remind that all those proceeds, whether you bought an ad, buy a ticket, or contribute in any way, goes to our scholarship fund.
That'll be very well received. That's a big part. We're going to have Doug Letney on in a little bit. I want him to actually talk a little bit about scholarship because that's coming up very quickly for us. Also, we're going to kick off 2025 with the Mountain Cat Wrestlers down in Oakland.
Yep.
So that's at least an event on the calendar for our athletics team. So we want to make sure we are promoting that. That's a nice one. UPJ going against Oakland.
That's January 3rd.
But hopefully we're going to, as we get closer, there'll be stuff. Anything, when we get towards the end of December here, David and I kind of joking about everyone wrapping up term here. We're getting close to the end. When you think about it, 15 weeks goes a lot faster when you're not taking classes. If you're just kind of working through, terms seem to go a lot faster now that I'm not a student but a faculty member. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Oh, there's those times where one
when
day
you're-
just runs into the next,
That too. So we might disappear from the airwaves a little bit for a week or two over Christmas, but doesn't mean that alumni stuff stops, doesn't mean that the efforts stop. Make sure you're following our social media pages.
One of the things I did want to mention, we've got a couple of minutes here. One of the things I'm kind of excited about, we've been working on this for a while. May 30th and 31st.
Oh, yes, please.
We're going to have what we're going to call the Mountain Cat Media, Music, and More reunion. And that's going to include graduates over the last 50 years that have either been a part of the Advocate, the Programming Board, WPJ AM, WPJ TV, and in fact, at last night's meeting, there was also the idea, let's welcome Backroads and welcome Yearbook into this. The idea is to spend 2 days here, reliving those days when you were here as part of those different organizations. Each organization will take a chunk of their reunion and do a particular activity throughout those 2 days that'll be unique to that organization. One of the things that we're trying not to do is try not to segment them out, because in many instances, somebody who might have been a writer for The Advocate may have also been a DJ for the radio station.
Yeah, that
may
makes
have also
sense.
been on the program board. So we're going to do a kind of a neat kind of a intermixed activities throughout those days. I know yesterday, one of the things, or last evening's meeting, the committee that was the WPJ AM, with the wonders of technology, we're planning that wouldn't it be cool if we could call back a certain number of DJs that were on WPJ through the miracle of MP3s, and have them actually DJ throughout the day and provide music rather than pay for a DJ. So that's just one of the activities that's on the table.
Nice. Kind of like bringing back the old MTV
One
VJs.
of the other things that I did want to mention on the programming board is, on the committee is none other than Mr. Bruce Hassler.
Who's been on the show. I was going to mention that.
Absolutely.
Jeff Martinelli's on the committee as well, who's a
Ed
great
Sheets,
member of our alumni
Mark
board.
Bursick, Bonnie Fagan, Betsy Martinelli. If you're out there and you want to get more involved, send me an email, give me a call. We'd love to have you sit on the committee or come up with more ideas for
DGJ7
That's it.
at pitt.edu.
It's correct as usual, King Friday.
Thank you, David. I'm going to turn to my right and talk to somebody who's not that crazy. Dr. Lendy, Doug, welcome back to the show.
Hey, great to be here. Great to be here.
What do you think of the event today?
It's wonderful, and I am so happy and pleased for our student teachers because they have an opportunity to actually meet and discuss with various administration from the school district, superintendents, principals, from all the area school districts have graciously come up on a very frigid and soon-to-be snowy day is what they're saying.
Mid-20s. I just looked. That's what David and I were talking. We had some students who were going to try to get some more because they had to go back because we don't want them wasting time talking to us when they could have paying jobs on. And that's really what today means.
Exactly.
It could be a paid position.
Exactly. There are a lot of districts that are looking for permanent teachers as well as substitute teachers, long-term substitutes. So, yeah, this is a great opportunity for students to really walk out of here maybe with a position.
How long something like has this gone on? Do you know?
We've been doing this. We did this a few years before the pandemic, and then we did it virtually during the pandemic as that situation. But this has been going on, I would say, for about 10 years. Including the pandemic years.
So it's been a lot of students through this.
A lot of students have gone through this, and it's just grown more every year. And, having you folks come out here doing a podcast live with us is greatly appreciated.
Well, I like telling the story because people were asking why I had everything packed up in the office today, and I said, well, we were not asked. We were told. Dr. Charlene was on it. She's like, you guys are going to do a live episode from the event, and it's turned out to be really nice.
And so happy that you could come out here, and really a great turnout. So couldn't ask for a better chance, a better opportunity for the students.
One of the things that we were talking about, kind of do a little bit while we're waiting to get some students coming through, we were talking about some alumni stuff. So I'm going to ask you to put your alumni board hat on. We're getting ready to both advertise and start talking about our alumni scholarship.
Absolutely.
Which you run.
Absolutely.
For us. What is the alumni scholarship?
It is a great opportunity for any of our junior students here at the university to receive a scholarship, to take them, what we would like to say is take them into into their senior year. And sometimes students at that point, financial concerns, may have some financial concerns, and they need that extra boost, and that's what that scholarship does. And it's really great. We have one of the scholarship students throughout the university in any major, but one of the students happened to be a education student that received it. She's here walking around and participating, and that was something that she used to help her with her studies and continuing to get her degree.
Last year, do you remember the stats? We gave away $11,000
$11,000 to eight students.
Yeah, across 5 of the 7 divisions.
5 of the 7 divisions, yes.
So it spreads around, and it is very well
and it
needed.
makes an impact, and that's what that's why this event is being held. It's all about the students, and that's why we do what we do, and why we're here is because it's for the students.
I think it's great, and when you hear us talk about events on the show, when you hear us see David put stuff on the alumni social media page, and we talk about funds go to scholars, that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And it does really make the difference. About a year ago, we had an episode with Adeline York and Hannah Frizzell, who both had won in separate years the scholarship. So if you want to hear more about that and why that means so much to those students, go dig that episode up. It's well worth the listen.
Absolutely. And if I may, I want to put a plug in. If you have any future students in the high schools and that, and they're interested in becoming teachers, have them reach out to our division, and we'll be happy to hook them up, take them on a tour, show them around, even they're welcome to sit in on our classes.
Let me ask 2 quick questions, kind of piggybacking on that. So say I'm a district. I know it's 22 districts that
We actually, there are 35 school districts within the Appalachian Intermediate Unit 8, which we encompass. Out of those 35, we work with 24 of them.
24. My math is a little.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, my question is, so I'm out there and I'm a superintendent, I'm a teacher. I'm looking, and I know, Dr. Charlene talked earlier about a teacher shortage.
Right.
It's obviously not a shortage in this room,
Right.
as it's pretty packed. So if I'm a superintendent out there and I'm looking for qualified students, do I contact Dr. Charlene? Do I?
You certainly can contact her, contact me, and we'll help you to the best of our ability, or we'll point you in the right direction. As I look across the table,
That's still one last question now
Sure.
before we look across the table. So the other question is, you also mentioned the alumni scholarship. So let's say that I'm an alum or I'm a teacher that's come through this area or not, and I want to make a contribution to the scholarship. I know we do primarily fundraising for those scholarships, our golf tournament. We talked earlier about the Mountain Cat tournament. What if I wanted to make a contribution of any amount to that scholarship? Who would they contact?
well, I would tell you certainly can contact us at the Education Division. We'd be happy to help out and facilitate that. Or they can reach out to Institutional Advancement, which would be you, David, and specifically earmark that for scholarships. And it would be wonderful because, as I said, it goes directly to the students. And as you look around the room, you can see the faces. They completed their student teaching. They're happy. They're excited to get into the profession. And that's what we want. Students that I tell the students in class, enjoy what you do. And as I look around the room, it's nice to actually see that because you can see it in their faces, in their body language, that they do like what they do.
Just let me be clear that scholarship is for any junior student.
Any
so
juniors.
not just education.
Not just
I know we
education.
did,
No.
know.
But
I
I'm
think
just
last semester we had one from almost every division.
We had 5 of the 7.
5 of the
Yeah.
7, yeah. But I'm a little remiss if I didn't push education a little bit there.
Absolutely. I just don't want anybody out there.
No, but I understand that.
Humanity.
I-
to feel
That's what I'm saying.
slighted.
I understand.
Doug is very good about promoting education, and he hands it over to me as head of the alumni, and I carefully look at it, then I put the geography and business on top of that. But no, every junior's eligible. It has to be
Absolutely.
nominated by a faculty or staff member of the university, but every one of we welcome. And like I said, it was very proud that we had 5 divisions put applications in, and somebody from all 5, not on purpose, by the way.
No.
These were the best.
The best
of
the best. Absolutely. Best of the best.
So-
We're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
No more questions for Dr. Ledney.
Well, that's okay. Well, a minute ago, you gentlemen asked, about what superintendents and so forth. As I look across the table, I can introduce Jeff, who is superintendent at the Ferndale School District. So I can turn it over to
Great. You want to get up right on the mic? Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Doug was saying,
Yeah,
superintendent of Ferndale.
I'm Jeff Boyer, superintendent of the Ferndale Area School District, and Dr. Ledney hears from me all the time. Hey, we need this, we need that. Do you have anybody graduating in December? He just helped me out actually with one of the young ladies up here, Miss Gabrielle Slagle. We just snared her, so we're happy to
Does
have
she
her
know
on
that,
board.
or is this
Oh, yeah,
you
no,
making
she
an
was here.
announcement
Oh,
right
yeah,
now?
she's
She
break-
said she was coming. I said, no,
Right.
you're not.
Okay.
You're at Ferndale now. You're not coming to the showcase. But
I thought maybe we were just making that announcement here.
I
and
think,
she- oh
I,
my
think,
goodness.
I think they had to
I
for
tried to grab all our stuff. I'm like, no, you're not available.
just put a sign, stake them out,
Yeah,
chase the
no.
other other superintendents away with a
Yeah,
stick.
but today was her first day, so she did a great job, and she's coming back tomorrow. So that's
Hey,
good
there you
news.
go.
Why do you seek out our students? Why do you seek out UPJ students?
UPJ, well, I'm an alumni from UPJ, but it's
What year?
also an excellent, 95.
95. All right.
Yeah, 1995 alumni, secondary mathematics. So I remember all my old teachers, they were awesome, and they really inspired me to be a teacher, and that still lives here today, and I see it from the teachers that we do interview and we hire here from UPJ. So, and again, excellent institution. They have a fabulous education program, and when we receive these teachers, and we do get teachers from different areas, and I've been in 8 different school districts, so I've seen all the different universities around the area and what they bring to the table. I think UPJ is number one. So we definitely reach out to Dr. Ledney when we're looking to fill a position, and he usually answers the call.
Well, that's great. Why secondary ed math?
Secondary math for
Yeah.
me. Oh, I love numbers. I'm just a numbers-driven person. So
My sister's wandering around here someplace. She's secondary ed math too, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
I don't get it.
that, or we were dropped when we were babies. I'm not sure. You know?
I don't. The whole family can do math. I can't. I'm the social scientist out and play with geography. That is really neat. What stands out? Anyone from a faculty perspective that stood out when you were here? You said
Yeah.
mid-90s. So I'm trying to
back
think
in the
of.
day, I'd be Dr. Warfel, Dr. Sigmund, Dr. Gerard.
Oh yeah, Dr. Sigmund. Yep.
Sigmund's
Trying to think.
yeah.
Forgive me a little bit. Dr. Kushner.
Yep.
Boris Kushner. Did you remember
Yep.
Boris?
I remember Boris.
It was funny. He would be speaking English for a little while, then all of a sudden he'd go off in Russian.
Yep.
We had to slow him down, bring him back.
It literally was like the Ricky Ricardo Lucy thing. It just kind of next thing you know, he's a different language and come back to.
Exactly. Yeah. Dr. Cruz and statistics.
So was this a math class or a language class?
We weren't sure sometimes, but we had fun. It was a good group of people, though. We all got along well, and he'd start writing in Russian. It was even better. So.
We talked a little bit with Dr. Wilson about the concept. What have you seen the change in teaching now being coming up on 20 years?
It's drastically changed. I mean, before, when you were lucky to get into a school district, and you were usually there 20, 30 years. And now with cyber schools moving in, and again, there's a place for cyber. I understand that. I'm not knocking cybers. It's just that they're really pulling away from our teachers as well. So we're constantly trying to backfill, and no one's sticking around. I think all the new hires that I've seen probably in the last 10 years, if they stay 5 years, that's saying something, because there's a shortage out there and they can go anywhere they want. My daughter graduated from Geneva. She's now in the Bahamas as a
wow.
teacher in Nassau.
Yeah.
She just decided, because they can't find teachers there either.
Yeah.
You sure that's what she's doing?
Well, she says. But, they
Send you any
really,
class pictures or
That's true. There is a social media site.
on the beach a lot?
But yeah, really, I was telling some of the kids in here, really the world's a big place now. Don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
locally. You can actually go anywhere you want, especially with a special education certificate. They just released a state of education report today. Came out from PSBA. And I think special education was the number one job they can't fill. Secondary math was number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went down to middle level math, middle level science, school psychologists.
And we talked a little bit earlier about that, just the evolution of, wraparounds, IEPs. There was a day when those didn't exist. Like special education meant a totally different thing
Correct.
15 years ago than it does now. And it just, that evolution from, you've probably, I'm going to assume from a very different perspective, coming up through the teaching ranks to the administrative ranks, and dealing with from students to parents to being in an administrator's position, that, my God, the stuff that juggling, and then you throw in special education is something of its own that it never was before. And the ever-evolving student has got to be several challenges such as.
It is, and there's so much paperwork now involved in special education and all the progress monitoring you have to do. And it's all for the right reasons, but the amount of paperwork is, when you think about, do I want to be a pre-K4 teacher or a special education teacher or a math teacher? There's definitely more paperwork if you're going to be a special education teacher. And you have to be prepared for that. You might have a caseload of 10 or a caseload of 30. And you got to stay on it. And it's a lot of work. It really is.
Well, welcome back to campus.
Thank you.
Glad you always come back. Don't leave. David will have some stuff for you.
I forgot. You're going to be around for some alumni swag.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Want you to fly those colors at Ferndale. That
Okay.
And I constantly say this, and this is, I know this is an alumni podcast, but I constantly say this, and I was one of those people when I graduated from Pitt Johnstown, was going to do it on my own. So I never looked to say, find alum. Here's a guy that's a superintendent that went to school at Pitt Johnstown. You're a teacher. Find other alum. Use that network. There's one thing that you're going to get correct on the interview question. When the guy asks you, did you go to UPJ? So did I. You're going to get that question right. So I can't encourage enough. Like I said, I'd love to see that the alum are seeking out our students, but I'd like to see our new alum to start seeking out other alum and continue that network.
Absolutely.
And this is a great example of how that works.
Yeah.
Just right here. We apparently saw a job go down, right?
I'm going to run to your
Okay.
hat. Can you handle? Is it open? Drag it always back to my office. Then go to my office.
No, that's fine. That key.
You sure?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Anyway.
okay, thank you.
The throwback.
But that's one of the great things that does occur here. David had to grab my key and go back to the office real quick. But for those of you who are listening in audio, but that's one of the great things, having those connections and those alumni things. And one of the efforts that David and I are trying to do from not just like this and the education side, because frankly, it does really good. This event's amazing. It's been now twice now that we've been invited, and it's great to see these things.
Yes.
But one of the things we also want to do is start building up the concept of an alumni chamber of commerce. Schools looking for teachers as part. Maybe you just want to do business with you need a new roof.
Yeah.
There's a UPJ. I got windows one time, and a guy came through and said, "Oh, Pitt's well, yeah, UPJ. Oh, I wrestled." Oh, and that was 2 hours just talking UPJ stories. But that's the kind of stuff you get when that people don't think about when you are looking for a job out there.
Yeah, building relationships, I think, is what you're hitting the nail on the head there. I think the more relationships we can build with people and keep our networks open and meet new people and create opportunities for us to get together like this. I mean, I've already seen former students I had as a principal at Somerset walking around here now going to be teachers. Also, former students and teachers now going to be administrators, all in the same room. So it's been interesting.
Well, that's kind of
Means
nice.
I'm old, too.
It makes it neat. Tell me about it. I tell you, the first time I did a class up here and I realized no one alive in the room except for me remembered 9/11 was a sobering moment in my timeline-wise. But thank you so much for stopping in and talking to us
Thank
today.
you.
And hopefully, I'm like, go hire some more of our grads.
All right, I'm going to go look. I was almost halfway down.
Great. Thanks a bunch. Well, we're going to invite some of our students in now and ask them to come and talk to us and give us an example of what they are doing. Come on in. Sit down. We got 3 seats. Take 3 seats. Any of the 3? Okay. Go. Yeah. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. Introduce yourselves. Let's go around.
Go ahead. Do I just say my first name?
You can introduce yourself however you like. And
All right. I'm Megan Bradley. I just graduated.
Oh, I'm Lexi Scott. I just graduated as well. Woo!
I am Vanessa Johnson. I also just graduated. Woohoo!
I'm Ashley Patterson, and I also just graduated.
all right. Well, this is good. This is the Alumni Podcast. So you're starting your alumni careers, the longest part of most people's experience being a UPJ affiliated person, an alumni. Although there's some of us that spent longer time in college than others.
Me. I'm at year 6, so
Go
you know,
Mavericks.
as
No,
long
that's
as they don't
perfectly
prank
fine.
me and say you have to go back next semester.
No, you get to go back next semester. You don't have to. You get to go back.
An opportunity.
I haven't got a chance to go through. What were all of your projects and your presentations like? I haven't seen anybody today. I've been stuck here doing the...
I'll go first, but mine's kind of boring because I'm from Pittsburgh, so everyone kind of just, oh, do you plan on working at Pittsburgh? Yeah, and then they'll be like, all right, nice to meet you, good luck. You know,
Okay,
so.
but let me tell you, there's 5,000 alumni from UPJ in the greater Pittsburgh area.
Well, if anybody's listening, my name is Megan Bradley. I went for early childhood education. I'd love a job. My phone, I'm just kidding.
I've seen her teach. She's really great. Yeah.
Well, can't beat that as an endorsement. Actually, if anyone is out there listening, get a hold of myself or David, and we will get it to education, and we will pass that along to you.
Yay.
Thank you.
Because you never know. Go ahead.
I just have my resume and a brochure over there. Just talking about all that I did here, and then it also has some pictures from my student teaching.
What was your
it great.
educational focus?
I'm early childhood education, and I got the STEM endorsement as well.
Great.
Yes.
I am also an early education major. Over on my table, I have my brochure and my resume, and then I have a few pictures from placement. I was at Greater Johnstown in a third grade classroom.
Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it, yes. I had experience in a kindergarten classroom, so the third grade was like a jump in age, but I honestly really enjoyed it, and I was comfortable there.
That's neat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm in early childhood as well. I got my ESL and my STEM endorsement, and I was in second grade room this year, and I really enjoyed it. I have my brochure over there and some cute little notes the kids wrote me.
That's always nice to get, even at my level on the college, to get a little note from, hey, things went well, I got a job, it's good. That is really nice and reassuring to hear that
Yeah.
you did good for them.
Yeah, I want to keep them forever. I'll always remember them. Start off my journey.
Tell you what, there's a lot to building that portfolio of scrapbook stuff that means a lot, even after you've retired.
Yep.
You're looking for Pittsburgh.
I am.
Where's everyone else looking to work?
Around here, I'm from the North Star area, so whatever's driving distance, I'm willing to go to.
Nice.
Yes, I am from the Johnstown area, so starting out, I'll probably stay in the Johnstown area, but I have a job lined up at Johnstown to be a floating substitute.
Oh, nice.
So I'm really looking forward
Good.
to that. I love the district.
I'm from Evansburg, but I'm moving to Maryland, so big adventure ahead.
Do you have anything lined up, or?
I'm looking at different places in the area, but as of now, no, I'm putting in applications.
That's the point we're at.
I'm sure that's going to pan out because teachers just needed everywhere. Although we were just talking to the gentleman from Ferndale, his daughter's apparently in the Bahamas, so maybe Maryland's. You could go further south to a tropical location and find a job. That would be a little,
nice.
little warmer.
I'm not sure I can handle the heat down there.
That's why I'm not looking forward to. Wouldn't do it either. Why education for all four of you?
This is always the question. Go ahead.
Yeah. I know that, and I was just actually telling my kids this today, because today was my last day student teaching, and I was like, I just hope that I made an impact on you guys. Like, I had a student teacher in second grade. I still remember her to this day. Her name was Miss Marone, and she was just the reason I wanted to become a student teacher. I never loved or looked up to anybody, sorry mom, more than her. I loved her so much, and I actually was thinking, I'm going to go home and email her tonight, but I just had, a student teacher that I just loved, and she made me want to become a teacher, and it's just, I would take home papers from school, and I would play school. My sisters were probably sick of me, but I was always a teacher's pet. I just love teaching.
So that was the impetus. No family history or anything.
No, nobody in my family's a teacher.
Nice.
It's kind of the same for me. I always wanted to be a teacher when I was younger. I would be the teacher whenever all of our friends were playing together. I would say, I have to be the teacher and you guys can be the students. And I also had a lot of teachers when I was in elementary school that I just loved. And then after elementary school, I moved. So then I was getting a whole new experience. It's all new friends, all new teachers and everything like that. So I just want to be a teacher that will make that new student feel welcome along with all of the students in my classroom. So yeah.
Very neat.
That's awesome. I feel like we all have so much in common.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I can remember core memories from when I was younger, being little and being the teacher and of all my friends and family. But really from my own personal experience, I always loved teaching from a younger age, but I always just wanted to be that person that I needed when I was younger in school. Because at a younger age, school is kind of scary and nerve-wracking, and I feel personally I didn't have that support emotionally, so I really wanted to be that
That's
somebody.
a nice way to
for-
look at
for
it.
somebody
Yeah.
else.
I'll tell you, it doesn't get easier for some of us. I still get scared on the first day of school, and I'm teaching. What drew you to teaching?
So my first grade teacher, Miss Ponchione, she's really the biggest influence in my life of why I want to become a teacher. She was really there for me a lot of tough times in my early years, so I just want to have an impact like she did on those children. Yeah.
I think it's really neat, and I think your point is very well made. Is that talking, whether it's been to students that I've had who are in education, since I get a lot of bleed over into the social sciences, or episodes like this, or talking during other events, or even alumni that we've had on the show, is there's kind of that people come to business in a lot of different ways. People come to my geography program in a lot of different ways. Teaching kind of has that, here's a story from 15 or 20 years ago in my life that has shaped me and everything to that point.
Yeah.
And it seems like the 4 great examples of this still being the case.
Sure. I feel like too, like everyone goes through a phase like where they want to be a teacher, you know, but like that kind of like goes away, and then there, like I've had other experiences too. Like since I like thought about it in 2nd grade, like then I went on and I did like we had junior achievement where I would go and teach in like elementary school, and then I taught in a preschool program, and I just feel like since 2nd grade I've just always been connected to like working with kids. Like I worked in a daycare for 8 years. Like I don't know, I just feel like when you really want to be a teacher, you find like any chance you can to like build on that and make those connections with kids, you know.
Like I did coaching for ASO, like the younger kids, and I coached for high school too. And then also, I don't know if you guys are the oldest, but like I'm the oldest daughter, I'm the oldest cousin, the oldest grandchild. So I was always the babysitter, the one taking care of everyone else. So
The responsible adult in the room.
Responsible adult. And then, so I was just like always caring for everyone. So I felt like that really helped me want to be a teacher as well, because that is the role you take on as an educator. You're caring for all of these students.
Yes.
I think that's a great point, and I think it's cool to see all these things. Now, though, that you are, and we're gonna fast forward the calendar a couple days and say you're officially alumni. Why? I ask this of every alumni who comes on the show. Why did you choose UPJ?
Honestly, my dad works for Pitt, so it was like it wasn't really where do you want to go. It was like what campus would you like to go to?
And you picked the superior one.
But I actually was committed to Pitt, Maine, and I was so excited to go there. And then I toured UPJ for my little sister, and I was like, "Yep, I'm going to UPJ." Like I just love how small it is and how, like all of my professors that I've had so far, like I've just made great connections with. Like if I need something, I can literally call them on the phone. Like they answer so quick. And I went to Pitt, Maine for a year too. During COVID, I just didn't want to be up here alone. And I hated Pitt, Maine. Like the campus is huge. It's dirty. Like my teachers didn't even know my name.
Oh, wow.
It's such a different experience here. And I think like if you're looking for like that closer, like it almost feels like high school again. Like you see the same faces all 4 years, like you know your teachers. I just love UPJ. And Richland's so cute too.
Yeah.
The only thing that stinks is the winter, but I'm getting out of there for that this year.
Nice. We'll send it to wherever you back with you to Pittsburgh.
It really just kind of happened. Like I didn't know where I wanted to go, and I live close to UPJ, so I've been here for sports. I've heard other people that are older than me that I went to school with say that they like to hear, so I just picked it with my parents. We looked online, and I was like, okay, this is for me. And I agree, like it is great to have such small classes, and like we've all known each other for how long now because of our classes. I never would have met these people that have become great friends without UPJ. So, yeah.
For me, my older sister attended here at UPJ, so I was kind of like following in her footsteps, but I did have other options, so I did explore it like by myself. One thing that I would say that I was really attracted to was in middle school, I went to private school, so that was like very small, like 8 kids in a classroom, and you're with all of those, same 8 kids all day. And when I got here and I started taking the classes and I was kind of in the school environment here, it felt kind of like similar to that, very small and like home, but I really liked that small feeling, because then that's whenever the education is more like targeted. You can get extra help and you get extra attention, and like Megan was saying, they understand you and they know actually who you are. So that's one thing that I was really attracted to, and it brought me here.
Great.
Yes, so I'm a first-year graduate, what do they say? I'm the first in my family to graduate.
Okay.
So I really never
First
knew.
generation.
First generation,
That's
yes.
exciting.
Yes.
That is awesome.
And so I never really knew what kind of campus or college I ever really wanted to go to, because there was no footsteps to follow. But I did go to Penn Highlands for my first 2 years.
Okay.
And all your credits transfer to UPJ, so that was wonderful. It worked out really well. And the campus here is beautiful, and it is very small. You make a lot of friends, and the professors are here for you in many ways. Any troubles or struggles you have, there's always someone to go to, and they'll help you.
it's been always my experience. Been on campus now, better part of 40 years of my life. So it's that close community. And now look, we get to sit here and talk and hang out and hear this kind of stuff. All in all, yeah, both anywhere in the system is fantastic. But I'm glad and I'm very thankful that all 4 of you have now graduated.
I know.
Thank you.
Here. Congratulations on
Thank
behalf of the
you.
Alumni
So much.
Association. And I wish you well.
Thank you.
Thanks
As
so
you-
much.
Thank you.
And feel free to tell your friends you're going to be on the podcast.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. First podcast.
Yes, first podcast.
The best podcast ever.
Yes.
I agree.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. Well, folks, we're starting to see the crowd thin out a little bit, but it has been an exciting event, and I am just very grateful that Dr. Rowland opted to come down and invite us and come and spend some time with them. I'm sure, David, you've seen some cool stuff out there talking to folks.
Yeah, like I said, I'm always impressed with the innovation and the thinking forward rather than just, as I mentioned before, there's none of these students that are, my project is flashcards.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's innovative ideas for classroom use, which is, I think, impressive.
I think it's fantastic. I want to thank everyone who.
So I think we have another student.
Oh, we do. Oh, yeah. Come, please sit.
Oh, more students.
Pile on in. If you want to grab some chairs and bring them around here, and Dr. Rowland, you are going to get a producer credit on this week's episode, I think, because
Producer moment. Did you see that?
she's wrapping things
She
up
did
and
this.
giving us
She
the
did
hook.
She did the wrap up signal.
Who do we have with us now? Introduce yourselves and what did you study?
I am Madeline Cesiri. I'm a senior here at UPJ, headed into my last semester ever here, which is unbelievable.
That's what I said 30 years ago.
I'm Kaylee Carson. I'm also a senior, early childhood education, and also headed into my last semester. So
I just pointed out to our last group that you don't have to come back. You get to come back and take more.
I'm Emily Ewan. I'm also a senior early childhood education major.
And my name is Julia Shima. I'm also a senior, and I am also an early childhood education major.
Okay, I sense a theme.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we're all together in a cohort.
Let's go with order. Why education, and then why early childhood education?
I'll start first. Why education? That's a pretty broad question, but I think ultimately I can speak for myself, but I also know how these 3 women also feel. It's important to inspire and teach the future generations, so we feel it's very important to reach children at a young age. That's why we chose early childhood education. It's important to catch them at that young age to help them grow and help them continue on.
well, I don't really know if I have much to add to that.
And that was kind of like a standard, like, Miss America question.
Oh, okay.
Like, inspire. What was it called? Inspire? Okay. Good.
We'll play the tape back, David. People can listen at their leisure. What drew you to education?
I would say that I love kids, and I have always loved working with kids, and I just think that being a teacher, you have so much impact, and especially like at a young age, you really get to see them grow up. And at the young age, being a teacher of the young students, then whenever you get to see them when they're older, a senior in high school, then it really just makes all the world of a difference knowing that you got to impact them when they were young. And kids at that age are like sponges; they take everything in. So I think you can really have a big impact at such a young age. So
Good point.
I agree with both of them. The early years are the most important, and I can remember some of my early childhood teachers and how much they had an impact on me, and so I kind of want to be that for my future students. And my mother is also a teacher, so it's nice to follow in her footsteps, and I've seen it growing up, how much of an impact you can have on your students and what dedication it takes to be a teacher. And I just would love to just impact the future.
All right, I agree with they all three said it perfectly. I think it's important to build a love for learning at a very young age, and I can agree with Emily. I had very good experiences in elementary school. I think that was a huge starting point. I would play teacher in my bedroom all by myself from a very young age. It's been a job that I've wanted to accomplish for a really long time, and yeah.
That's a theme that we heard so far through the day, is that folks who have that younger, that childhood kind of, hey, that was for me, and it kind of stayed and never kind of, I don't use the term grew out, but that got sidetracked into, oh no, I'm going to go into business, I'm going to go into science, but kind of stayed with the concept. You missed a perfect opportunity just to come in completely from right field and just been like, I'm in it to, I don't know, like get free sports tick. I'm really like high school basketball, and that's the only reason I'm in for this job, is just to go to the sporting event. But it's very nice. Why did you all choose UPJ?
I originally chose UPJ for athletics, actually.
See?
So, yes. So, I'm from a local school district around here. I graduated from Forest Hills High School, and I was provided the opportunity to come here with an athletic scholarship and play for the Lady Cats. So I played basketball for the program for a few years, and then recently decided to really focus on my education and focus on my future a lot. So I guess that's what.
So that was
brought
your
me
path
here.
was through the basketball program.
And I'm really fortunate to have came to UPJ and been a part of such a great education program with really great educators and amazing classmates. So
great.
Yeah.
I would say I'm also fairly local, like 35 minutes from here, from Claysburg. So I just love how, I don't want to say how small the school it is, but it really is. Like, our class sizes are pretty small, and I thought that was unique because that's what I was used to in high school. So, like, the student to teacher ratio was great. I feel like because of that, I've been able to really connect with all my professors. I trust them all, and they've become, like, so comfortable. Like, I'm so comfortable going to them, and so that drew me here. And I'm a country gal, and I love that we're like in the woods, and I can look out my back window in my townhouse and see the woods and watch the deer in the morning. So I love that. That's been a great part of the campus. So.
Just like them, I'm local. I graduated from Bishop McCourt, but I really picked UPJ because I think that getting this Pitt degree so close to home and being able to commute and still stay around my family and get that degree that is very, very big and pristine, like to say you get a Pitt degree is pretty cool, and to stay close to home, and just growing up around here, knowing that the college was up here, it was kind of always like, I kind of want to go there. I think that's cool. So it's cool to like finally be in the moment and be like, wow, I'm actually here and I'm going to graduate next semester.
I am also a commuter, so I went to Forest Hills High School, and I am able to live at home with my parents, which is amazing. My brother went to UPJ, so that was he's a big role model in my life, so following in his footsteps, I took his advice, and he informed me how great of relationships that he made with his professors, and I can say that I have successfully made those relationships.
What did he study?
He was a communications major.
Okay.
But yeah, the relationships. I think that's like a big important thing, and especially in education. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all my professors, because they have helped me through everything, through pep talks, through coursework, through life talks, through it all.
And now they rounded you up and stuck you on a podcast with me and David.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on a great event and all the hard work you've done. David has a question.
So you guys are all graduating in December?
No, we actually all are going to be graduating in the spring.
Okay,
We'll be
cool.
graduating May 3rd.
Okay, so I won't ask the question that you guys are employed yet, because obviously you're not. My question, parting question is, so what do you think the biggest challenge will be for each of you when you get out there into the classrooms?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be stepping into my own classroom without my professor's support, without a mentor teacher, because we are so used to having our mentor teacher to observe us and guide us. And if something's going wrong in a lesson, they can step in right now and help us. And if we have an issue or an obstacle that we have to tackle, we can always shoot one of our professors an email, and they answer fairly quickly and help us resolve the issue. So I think one of my bigger struggles will be being in a classroom by myself with, 25
You're
8-year-olds
significantly
maybe.
outnumbered.
Yes, definitely.
I totally agree with that. Something personal for me is that I'm moving out of state. So our professors have taught us so much about like Pennsylvania standards and all of how teaching goes and education goes in Pennsylvania. And so I think for me, making the connections between what's similar in Pennsylvania, and I'm moving to West Virginia, so the difference is there. I think that'll be a little bit of an adjustment, but I think our professors have really prepared us for a lot of things. But like Maddie said, just being able to be in a classroom by yourself without the, just the support person there, that'll be a challenge for, I think, all of us.
I'm gonna not commit them, but I'm gonna talk to you as a member of the faculty. You still can email us. We'll still answer.
I think that the biggest obstacle is going to be having confidence in myself, because I know that I'm ready to go out and I've learned everything that I need to know from my professors and my mentor teachers, but just being out there on your own and being confident in what you've learned and what they've taught you, and like what you are able to do and how you're going to be able to impact the next generation, is, I guess, just having the confidence of I'm actually going to be able to do that. So
Okay, I can agree with all that. I'll add that I
started
think
on that side.
I know. I'm sorry.
it's okay. I think a big obstacle is going to be applying for and interviewing, because that is something that I am nervous about, because we haven't focused much on that. We've focused on teaching the lessons, making the lessons, creating relationships with the kids and the students, but we haven't practiced interviewing it, which I think we do that next semester. So I'm ready to become more comfortable with that, because it scares me a little bit.
Well, I think you did fine on this show.
Thanks.
So if you could
Just got a
survive
whole
us.
semester to get this under your belt here. So,
Well, thank you again. Congratulations to all four of you. And we wish you the best, and we'll see you on campus. And when you're done in a couple months, you'll be alumni, and
Yes,
we'll be
thank
bugging you
so
for all
much
kind of
for
stuff.
having
thank
us.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, David, for our first live episode, what do you think? On site at an event.
we did it.
I think it turned out great. Education Division, Dr. Rollins, Dr. Letney, thank you for inviting us and having us down here with all these great folks, and I hope everyone enjoyed hearing from some alumni, from faculty, from students that really show you how special everything that happens on this campus really truly is. It's easy to just kind of think about and kind of just have it be part of the background noise of the day, but I hope everyone enjoyed actually hearing how it's stuff like this that really makes the difference in these young folks' lives. So, David, have a great week.
You too, Matt. Do the same.
Bye, everybody. The Tuck Shop podcast is recorded live on the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown campus. Update your contact information with us by visiting johnstown.pitt.edu/alumni. Connect with us online via Facebook and LinkedIn, or consider donating to the university at give2, that's giveto.pitt.edu/giveupj.
This has been a production of Quantum Wave Media. Views expressed do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown.